Disclaimer. This video contains music and video footage I do not own. Credits are at the end of the video. This video contains discussion of sexual content, including STDs, and contains frightening imagery for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. This video is not intended for children under the age of 13, nor is my channel. The Child Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, states that nobody under the age of 13 should have, among other things, a YouTube account. Hello boyos, girlos, and non-binary genderlos, and welcome back to another Lost Media video. If there's one thing that gets lost all the time, it's films. Feature length, short, silent, loud, doesn't matter. Tons of these things fall through the cracks over the years, and today I'm going to be taking a look at 13 of them. Here are 13 lost films. But first, a quick update. Spoilers for later in the video, but there is a bonus entry at the end of this video, and I'm going to start using bonus sections to talk about found media that fits the bill and I find interesting enough. They won't always show up, but I'm going to start using them from here on in so I can talk about some interesting cases that have already been solved. Back to the video. First Love, Fatal Love was a half-hour HBO special about the dangers of STDs, specifically AIDS, and dramatized the story of real-life AIDS victim Kim Frey. The special has past Frey, played by Alexandra Otter, contract AIDS from a man named Michael she met in college. The film would jump back and forth between the past and current Kim Frey, where in the current segments, the actual Kim Frey would speak to the audience. The film ends with her giving a message to the audience to practice safe sex and get tested, though she has no control over you or your actions. The special aired on April 9th, 1991, and re-aired on April 15th, 20th, 25th, and 28th that year before never being seen again. Outside of a March 18th promo for the film, nothing has surfaced online. Apostol, or The Apostol in English, was the first ever feature-length animated film released in Argentina in 1917. It was directed, written, and animated by Cristiani. The film was 70 minutes long and had a frame rate of 14 frames per second. Sadly, all known copies of this historic film were destroyed in the 1926 studio fire. The film is notable for how it is animated. Instead of using traditional cells, the film was animated with paper cutout puppets. Characters were designed by Diogenes Tabarada, an up-and-coming cartoonist. The film was a political satire about the president of Argentina at the time, Hipólito Yrigoyen, who wanted to cleanse Buenos Aires of its filth. Yrigoyen flies into the heavens and meets Jupiter, the Roman god of gods, and uses his lightning bolts to destroy Buenos Aires so that he could rebuild it into the model city he wanted it to be. He then awakens to find out it was a dream and that politics are more nuanced than that. No stills, posters, or footage of the film still exist outside of some production materials, such as the background of Buenos Aires and some character designs. Her is a 2013 romantic drama film starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Spike Jonze. Phoenix plays Theodore Twombly, a lonely man who works for a company who writes love letters for those who don't have the guts to do so themselves. Unhappy after his divorce, he purchases an operating system upgrade that allows it to have an adaptive artificial intelligence. He falls in love with the operating system, which named itself Samantha. Samantha was originally played by Samantha Morton, hence the name, though Jonze is infamous for making last-minute casting changes. In this case, all the film's script was recorded by Morton, even having both actors on set to build chemistry. Though near the end of production, with Morton's blessing, Samantha was recast to be played by Scarlett Johansson, and all the audio was re-recorded in time for release. The film went on to be a financial success, with many who have seen the film praising the writing and performances. However, Samantha Morton's dialogue has yet to be released, even after fans mentioned a trailer which supposedly had Morton's dialogue in it, which has not yet surfaced. Given Jonze's perfectionism, it's highly likely that the audio cannot be found, as he very well may have deleted it, but currently the audio status is unknown. This Man was going to be a horror film based on the urban legend of the same name. Movie Insider lists Sam Raimi and Rob Tapert as producers, Brian Bertino as director and screenwriter, and Ghost House Pictures as the production company. The urban legend of This Man is traced back to thisman.org, which postulates that in January 2006, the patient of a well-known psychiatrist draws the face of a man she repeatedly sees in her dreams, and apparently over 2,000 others also see his face in their dreams, from Los Angeles, Berlin, Sao Paulo, Tehran, Beijing, Rome, Barcelona, Stockholm, Paris, New Delhi, Moscow, and many other towns from across the globe. On May 6, 2010, it was revealed that the legend was a hoax and that a film based on the legend was in production. After that announcement, no new updates came about and no actors were announced. A press release from Ghost House outlines the premise, saying that the film was about a man finding out people he has never met or seeing him in their dreams, and he must find out why he's a source of nightmares for strangers across the world. Nothing has been heard from the film since. Freaky Flicker's Quest for the Golden Flicker was to be a 2009 animated film based on the Freaky Flickers toy line. The film was directed, written, and animated by one man by the name of Carrie Howe. The film follows Ark the pirate and his crew, who set off on a quest for the Golden Flicker, a MacGuffin that will pay off the debt of their creator, Doc Flick. Production for the film began in 2005, originally as a television series before being converted into a 90-minute movie instead, scheduled to release in February 2009. It was going to be distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer to over 2,800 theaters. On June 9, 2009, after Howe had worked all day, he left editor David Kahn with the film in his living room while he went to sleep. He woke up to find the film stolen, and all backups and equipment too, by his associate and toyline creator Peter Gantner. Aside from the trailers and one scene from the movie's Flickr page, no footage has been released, and it's unclear what even happened to the stolen materials or if they're even still functioning. Big Bugman is an unreleased animated superhero film starring Brendan Fraser as Howard Kind, a man who is bitten by bugs during his job at a candy factory and becomes the superhero Big Bugman before being corrupted by the business world. The film is most famous for being the last performance made by Marlon Brando, with the recording happening only weeks before his death on July 1st, 2004. Brando was originally sought after to play Nicholas Dunderbeck, an evil businessman, though Brando declined in favor of doing one of his acting dreams. He instead played the minor role of the candy company founder Mrs. Sour, as he always wanted to play a woman. When the crew went to record his lines, they found him dressed in a wig, gloves, dress, and makeup so he could truly get into character. Brando was weak and needed oxygen throughout, but he remarked that it was the most fun acting gig he's had since Julius Caesar. The film was originally scheduled for a 2006 release, but pushed back to 2007, 2008, and then nothing of the film's release has been announced since. Only some storyboards and the film's poster have been released online. The Butcher is the name given to a currently unidentified short film that aired on Nickelodeon anywhere from 2001 to 2004. The Butcher was brought to the internet's attention when Reddit user DeadUser00 posted on r/tip-of-my-tongue, describing the film as entirely in black and white, and a pair of human hands would use a butcher's knife to chop up the animal puppets. The film was infamous for its alleged use of real animal bones sourced from cats, dogs, birds, and rabbits. There were some animals in jars, and allegedly the puppets fused together to form an abomination. The film also contained no dialogue, just sound effects and music. After describing the film, the National Film Board of Canada tried finding a film under the production code The Butcher to no avail. Many speculate the film to be a hoax, a false memory, or that DeadUser00 had confused the film for another movie or show such as Courage the Cowardly Dog or Odakuro. According to a follow-up post on Reddit, DeadUser00 said he believes the short film Butcher's Hook may be what he had seen, aside from a few missing or different details from the original description. He even became unsure whether the film aired on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. The film was either found or we haven't found it yet. Only time will tell. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood is a 2007 anime film based on the manga JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The film was shown in Japanese theaters from February 17th to April 9th, 2007 with no home media release of any kind. The film was made in honor of the 25th anniversary of manga creator Hirohiko Araki's career in the industry and the 20th anniversary of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The film was teased as early as 2004, with Bandai getting the license to make video games based on the manga, which they still have to this day, with a promotional PS2 game planned for release as a tie-in with the movie, and it was released on October 26, 2006. The reason why the film hadn't received a home media release can only be speculated, though many point to poor reception of the film and Studio APPP losing the license to the manga the following year after a controversy over the OVA of Part 3 Stardust Crusaders. The film's website is still accessible through the Wayback Machine, though most content from it isn't accessible. The link still works outside of it, but be warned, it's a Japanese porn site now with none of the same content still around. A work print of the first 16 minutes of the film released by the composer was found by a student at the Academy of Art University and uploaded to YouTube, albeit that the only audio was the music, making it the first time ever that any footage of the film was seen outside of public theaters. A 2.5-minute long test animation was played at the 2004 Tokyo International Anime Fair and was lost for a time, before being found on eBay and uploaded to YouTube by user Mangomation. The test animation featured scenes and characters not in the final film, such as Robert Speedwagon, and none of the animation from it was used in the final film. The other 75 minutes of the movie remain a mystery to this day. Kingdom of the Sun is the precursor to 2000 Disney film The Emperor's New Groove, being made during the 1990s before being scrapped in favor of its successor. Kingdom of the Sun was almost entirely different from the final film, being a more Prince and the Pauper type story where Llama Herder Pacha and Emperor Menko realize they look identical and swap lives out of boredom. Yzma, a powerful sorceress, finds out about the swap and wants to use this opportunity to take the throne and plunge the kingdom into darkness for her god Supai and to get rid of her wrinkles. Yzma turns Pacha into a llama and threatens him with the crime of impersonating the Emperor, which, if found out, would lead to his his execution. Being a llama, he can't speak, and surrenders the throne to Yzma, who now has complete control over the kingdom. Kronk was replaced by her 3 mummy sidekicks named Mick, Bowie, and Lemmy, as well as a talisman named Huaca, whose job it is to watch over Pacha. Manko, traveling with Mata, reaches the Grand Palace and learns humility. This compels him to return home, only to find it in shambles. The trio fights Supai by lassoing the sun and destroying Supai in the process. The film had many delays, and the executives didn't like the idea of the Prince and Pauper type story, so it was scrapped and converted into what we know now as The Emperor's New Groove. At least 20% of the film's animation and most of the story was finished before its scrapping, and pieces of the film were shown off in 2012, and then the documentary, The Sweatbox, reappeared online. In addition to every character being altered or removed, the songs from the film were completely removed, with the exception of 3 of which made it onto the Emperor's New Groove soundtrack, being Snuff Out the Lights, One Day She'll Love Me, and Walk the Llama Llama. The Sweatbox, a documentary about the film's production and transition to the Emperor's New Groove, can be found on archive.org. Not to be confused with the also lost 1922 version of the same film, The Ghostbreaker was a horror drama film released on December 7th, 1914 by Paramount Pictures. The plot follows a locket belonging to Princess Maria Teresa, which is stolen by her maid Carmencita. Carmencita is stabbed by her rival Juanita in a dispute over a man, and on her deathbed admits she sold the locket, which is the key to the Aragon family treasure. The princess and her brother enlist the help of Duke de Alva, and they go and search for the locket. Cut to a dispute between the Jarvis and Markham families, which turns to a bloodbath really fast. One of the Markhams kills Judge Jarvis, and Warren Jarvis follows him to a shop where he buys the locket. Minutes later, the princess and Duke arrive to try and get it from Markham, and the chase goes into a hotel, in which Jarvis kills Markham and the locket is returned to the princess. Jarvis, on the run from the detectives, follows the princess back to Spain. The princess's father enters the supposedly haunted castle, though the ghosts are actually Duke's men, who kill him and capture the princess's brother. Duke finds the inn that the princess and Jarvis are staying in and steals the locket, desperate for the treasure, and enlists his men to kill Jarvis. Jarvis seriously wounded the man, and on his deathbed, the man informs the princess about the capture of her brother. The brother escapes using Jarvis's horse and gets the police to capture Duke and his men. The film ends with Jarvis and the princess getting together. The just over 60 minutes of film were very popular during the 1910s and launched H.B. Warner's career. The film filled theaters constantly and was last seen on January 29, 1917 in Danville, Pennsylvania. The only remaining media from the film is a few stills. Fight Harm is the name given to an unfinished dark comedy film filmed by its director Harmony Korine during 1999 before being shelved later that year. 17 minutes of footage of this future of comedy, in quotes, were made, in which Korine would egg on some people and get beat up in an attempt at slapstick the Three Stooges would be jealous of, with a few rules in place. He couldn't throw the first punch, he could only fight people bigger than him, the crew couldn't break up the fight until he was knocked out. After many injuries, an arrest, and a lack of footage afterwards, the film was scrapped. The people who Korine fought would have to sign release forms to be in the movie, though most refused. Production began in New York City, where every night during filming, Korine would get drunk before entering his fights. 9 fights were filmed over 17 minutes of footage, and production was not nice to Korine and the crew. One encounter with a bouncer after he found out he was being filmed for a movie goes like this. He got so sad when he found out. He was like, "Oh my god, if I knew this, I never would have touched the guy." And so he signs the release form. And the girl beside him is totally in tears. The stripper, she's like, "Don't sign it! He's not a director! He needs to be locked up in a mental institute!" No official reason was given for the shelving of Fight Harm. It's likely that the injuries and lack of footage were contributing factors. The film apparently has a cult following, though Korine insists that he won't release it as it'll be funnier the older it gets. One theory for the film not releasing is also attributed to legal trouble, as not many people signed the release forms for the film. At the 2018 Key West Film Festival, Korine showed a clip from his phone to the audience in the first row, marking the first time anyone outside the production crew has seen it, though the film has yet to resurface outside of a single screenshot. Mothman is the name given to an unreleased independent horror film by Doug TenNapel, best known for his work on Cat Scratch and Earthworm Jim. This is to date TenNapel's only live-action project. The film follows Ellis Gladson, an animator living in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. With his work getting rejected by Disney, Gladson spends most of his time working on the abandoned apartment building his father owns. He encounters the infamous Mothman, who hasn't been seen in the town for 30 years. Nobody believes him, and he becomes an outcast. Though with the help of Old Man Hudson, who's seen Mothman before, he tries to prove Mothman exists. However, he has to contend with a man in black by the name of Agent Fulmer, who wants to find Mothman for more nefarious purposes. TenNapel got the idea for the film when he was tasked with making illustrations for a book about urban legends, specifically during the part about the 1966 sightings of Mothman. He pitched the idea to DreamWorks' film division, and while not given the green light, Martin Cohen, an executive for DreamWorks, was interested in the film and helped finance it. Mark Russell also helped make a production package on the film before he had to go to the UK to work on Saving Private Ryan. Jay Holben, a longtime collaborator of Russell's, was invited in his stead, and the film's budget was set at $650,000. This hot streak didn't last for long, however. as delays in production forced the film's budget to be significantly reduced. It was reduced to $150,000 before being shortened again to a mere $60,000, a mere 9% of its budget. The film by this point could only have a 15-day shooting schedule, and 90% of staff were laid off due to budget cuts. Holben took on the role of cinematographer after the previous one was laid off. Principal photography began in December 1997 in Orange County, La Habra, and Fullerton, California, before filming began in Point Pleasant. Filming was difficult to say the least, as the freezing temperatures, time constraints, and very noisy hunters made the film's filming schedule a lot more strict. The project was fueled by donations, and this caused post-production to take way longer than it should have, missing multiple planned release dates. Tenepo got the word out in spite of this and made it a webpage and an IMDb listing. Previews were held at the 1999 San Diego Comic-Con, and a trailer was produced, but the film remained unfinished. Tenepo planned to do more filming in February 2000, though these plans fell through, and the film's composer, Gene Andrusco, died later that month from either a brain aneurysm or a heart attack. Updates on the film went quiet thereafter, with the last one being from Bad Karma Productions in 2003, stating that the film was in its final editing stages. The reason the film was cancelled is unknown, as Tenepo was hesitant to discuss the film. He did, however, list it on his website with varying lengths from as little as 7 minutes to as long as 90. Only a handful of stills in the trailer are available, which contains half of the opening theme and 1 minute of footage. A soundtrack for the film was announced but never put into production. Last report of the film was from Tenepo's Twitter account in February 2018, where he said that he and the producer would try to hobble something together from the remaining footage they could find from the film, but in the almost 4 years since then, nothing has surfaced. Superman Lives, also known by its previous title Superman Reborn, was a cancelled film based on the DC Comics superhero Superman. Nicolas Cage was set to play Superman, and the film was directed by Tim Burton, and it's likely that the film would be in the same vein as Burton's Batman films. Multiple scripts were made for the film, and I'll discuss them here and now. Superman Reborn version 1 essentially boils down to this. It's based on the story The Death of Superman and features Clark Kent trying to ask out Lois Lane before Doomsday challenges Superman. They battle their respective deaths, and in Lois's arms, Superman confesses his love for her, which, I kid you not, takes the soul out of his body and into Lois's, getting her pregnant with Superman's child. The child gestates for a mere 3 weeks before being born and quickly grows into a 21-year-old man. As Lois is killed in the middle of the film, presumably by a resurrected Doomsday, the child takes on the mantle of his father and finishes him off for good. Version 2 is a lot less insane and features Brainiac as the main villain, unleashing a version of Doomsday with kryptonite-laced blood on Metropolis whilst Clark is dealing with double life stuff and his love for Lois Lane and trying to balance it all. Doomsday kills Superman and Brainiac attempts to steal Superman's body, though he's thwarted by government agency Project Cadmus, who wants to either clone the body or outright revive it. Meanwhile, Superman goes through a spiritual journey through the afterlife and arrives back in his body, albeit powerless. Through the power of willpower, he gets his powers back and defeats Brainiac and Doomsday. Superman Lives' his first draft was written by Kevin Smith, who changed the name due to thinking it fit better, and actually threw out Burton, getting completely boomeranged when Burton was hired instead of him for the film. Smith's script generally follows the plot of the second version, except Lex Luthor is involved, the sun is blocked, and Superman is resurrected by the Eradicator before making armor out of it, fueled by sunbeams before he can get his powers back, defeating the two. Now to the Burton era, where Wesley Strick's script is nearly identical to Smith's, with the exception of Luthiac, the fusion between Brainiac and Lex Luthor, actually being in the movie. The last script is made by Dan Gilroy and changes things significantly. It opens on Krypton and does the iconic scene of Superman being jetted off of Krypton and his parents are killed by Brainiac. Brainiac vows to kill him. Cut to Metropolis, where adult Superman stops a bank robbery before Lex throws his dual identity, which even Lois doesn't know about, in danger. Brainiac comes to Earth to conspire with Luthor to kill Superman before becoming Lexiac in the process. Lexiac creates Doomsday, the two fight, both die, and the body of Superman is taken to the Fortress of Solitude, where it is revived by the Kryptonian force only known as K. They trek back to Metropolis, defeat Lexiac in 1 second left on the timer for the nukes he was going to use, and Superman learns Lois is pregnant with his child. The film was scrapped, and John Peters, the film's producer, would move on to the cancelled Superman flyby. On May 1st, 2015, a documentary was released about the film entitled The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened. Only some concept art and production stills are still available today. Tarantella is a short film made by Christopher Nolan and Rocco Bellic made between 1989 and 1990. It only aired once on episode 1313 of Image Union on September 12, 1990. The series showcased independent films, and its creator, Tom Weinberg, later founded the Media Burn Independent Video Archive in 2003, which archived over 8,000 videos and over 150 episodes of Image Union. 1313 was not in this collection, however. In March of 2021, a man named Henry Adams started a personal search for Tarantella, and the search began through some emails with Weinberg, Spielberg, who connected him with Jamie Caesar, the producer of Image Union, during the time Tarantella aired. Caesar contacted a librarian at WTTW the station Image Union aired on, and later Adams got an email from the librarian stating that they had found the film. It was later added to Mediaburn, Vimeo, YouTube, and Archive.org. However, on August 11th, 2021, Syncope Inc., Nolan's company, struck all of these sites, including Archive.org, which means that they had found the Lost Media Wiki page, as Archive.org's page on it was only linked on the wiki. Several mirrors still exist on the internet, though most are on sketchy, non-English websites. Thanks for watching this video. Do you have any other pieces of lost media you'd like to see me talk about? Let me know in the comments below. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna find out why I'm appearing in people's nightmares, so I'll see you next time. Goodbye.